This is Valley News Live at 10.
This is a live look from our storm chaser, Eric Whitehill. He's been busy in Lemoore County and Stutsman County, and at one point watched a wide tornado across Highway 281.
Let's take a look now at the sky cam over South Fargo if we can, because a lot of that same lightning that Eric Whitehill is taking a look at, you are watching right now on your screen. It is quite a show going on right now. Let's head straight to Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson tonight for the very latest. Boy, things picked up in a hurry.
Indeed they did. They fired off earlier than I thought, and now the storms are here earlier than thought. There's good news and there's some concerning news, and the good news is the entire FM metro area stands a very good chance at getting a lot of rain. Not just a little, not the hundreds that we've seen the past few times. As we take a look at the radar, a lot of thunder and lightning, and notice this is all lining up to the south and west, and this is where the storms are coming from. They're going to come into Fargo in waves. 1, 2, 3 potential waves of stormy activity tonight, which could bring a lot of rain. Lightning and thunder in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Horace down toward the Enderlin area right now, moving to the east-northeast at 25 to 28 miles per hour. So wave number 1 is making its way in right now. It's not particularly potent with hail size. Could be some gusty winds associated with it, and we're watching for rotation in the storms as well. Here's the strongest storm hail-wise just off to the east of you in Lemoore. That hail core 1 to 1¼ inch hail diameter. As we look off toward the FM area, most of it around an inch in diameter that's moving in. So the best chance of some hail in the western fringes of the FM metro here in the upcoming 15 minutes. We'll keep you posted throughout the show on the track of these storms. As we go into the overnight, the severe risk goes down, but the rain risk continues. I'll have an update here in a minute.
And we also are getting word a woman from the Judd area has just sent us some video, unfortunately, of a big tree that's fallen on her house. Stick around, we've got her comments, and we'll show you that in just a few minutes.
All right, yeah.
All right, new tonight at 10. Some West Fargo residents aren't happy with the city after changes were made to property that used to be home to Berg Auto on Cheyenne Street.
Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor is live in the newsroom, and she joins us now with details. Nishay?
Mike and Andrea, the residents are upset with what they say is the lack of transparency on the city's part. The parking lot in question cost the city of West Fargo more than $55,000, which came from economic development sales taxes. According to the city administration, the lot was always part of a plan to provide more parking downtown. The administrator stated the lack of time and staffing were some of the reasons for the lease agreement to, quote, fall through the cracks. But one resident believes providing a lease agreement after the parking lot was built was not an ideal process.
Bottom line is, we put the cart in front of the horse, and I don't think we should be approving things. I guess it's going to be up to you guys, but we're approving things that are going to pay for them after the fact. And I think that's a major issue. That's where, once again, the transparency comes into play and the fiduciary responsibility to the citizens.
Now, Mayor Bernie Dardis also agreed with those residents voicing their concerns, stating there was a need for transparency. Now, however, there were no changes made to the parking lot.
Approve that lease agreement.
Hutch just let us know that there's a warning that impacts the Fargo area, so let's go back to him right now if we can and get the very latest. Hutch?
Yes, thank you so very much. I got to say that a warning was issued for that cluster of thunderstorms just off to the west of us. Right here, you'll see it blinking as it was just issued. Severe thunderstorm warning for this cluster of storms. As we take you in a little bit closer, that was too close, I'm sorry. We'll back out a little bit. These storms are moving east at 35 miles per hour. The main threat will be hail up to an inch in diameter, but we're going to have gusty winds to the tune of 70 miles per hour pushing into the metro in some areas. Now, when I take a look at the area where the strongest wind is right now, the radar can look into the storm and not far from Leonard, heading in toward the Kindred area, Horace and South metro area, some winds. These are local and we could get gusts or burp out of this storm in different places. So gusty straight line wind potential with this storm in excess of 70 miles per hour. Batten down the hatches, stay away from windows, and I'll be back with the forecast in a minute. Back to you guys.
Okay. The family of a 14-year-old girl who was brutally attacked last Friday is saying their goodbyes tonight as doctors say her injuries are too great. Jupiter Paulson's father telling Valley News Live this evening they've decided to donate her organs in hopes of saving the lives of others. Now, the man accused of strangling and stabbing her more than 20 times, 23-year-old Arthur Colley, remains behind bars tonight on $1 million cash-only bail. He's charged with attempted murder, felony robbery, and aggravated assault. Now, court documents say a garbage man was driving through the parking lot near Party City Friday morning, and they say they saw Colley leaning over the victim with one hand on her nose, the other on her throat. The assault on Jupiter Paulson lasted nearly 25 minutes. Colley telling investigators that he used meth on the afternoon before the assault and had not slept since. He has been again in court, or he'll be in court again on July 14th and faces more than 40 years in prison if convicted.
Another tragedy involving a 14-year-old, this one in Minnesota. Damaris Ekdahl was shot and killed while leaving a graduation party in Woodbury over the weekend. The Tartan High School football player was remembered for his love of fast cars, sports, and as someone who stayed out of trouble.
He's a good kid. He didn't deserve it. He wasn't in the streets. He wasn't a gang member. He didn't do nothing wrong. Nothing.
Keith Dawson has been charged in connection with the shooting, but he's apparently not the shooter. Officials say he was the driver of the vehicle that witnesses say started shooting. Dawson says he learned of a fight between two groups of people, including Ekdahl, but the teen was apparently not involved. Dawson is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow.
A 26-year-old Minnesota man is dead after saving his two kids from drowning at a lake. It happened yesterday at Moore Lake. Witnesses say Leland Morris went in to help the kids who were on flotation devices and struggled to get back on shore. While he was trying to swim, he went underwater and didn't come back up. Police say the children's mother and others nearby got to the kids and got them to shore.
Climate change is causing Earth's temperature to rise, and as that happens, the level of oxygen in our lakes is going down. Oceans get a lot of attention, but University of Minnesota researchers just released a study saying that lakes are losing oxygen even faster. That's bad for fish, water quality, and ultimately bad for Minnesota tourism. The good news is there are ways for the lakes to be better protected. David Schumann found out how that could change life on and below the water.
From here, the water of Lake Nokomis looks clear. If you actually get out there, Brian Nurbin with the DNR says it's more cloudy than you might expect.
Climate change is certainly affecting all the lakes in Minnesota. Some of them are more sensitive than others.
The DNR regularly measures dissolved oxygen levels in lakes, which on the whole are steadily declining.
Dissolved oxygen is really important for all sorts of aquatic life that lives in our lakes, and it's something we've been concerned about in the Department of Natural Resources for a number of years.
Those concerns were confirmed Wednesday in a University of Minnesota-driven study that spanned about 400 lakes around the world going back to the 1940s, including 84 Minnesota lakes. It found that lakes are getting warmer, which lowers oxygen levels, which hurts fish habitats, biodiversity, and increases greenhouse gas emissions.
There are direct management actions we can do to slow down or reverse these trends is kind of a hopeful point of it.
These experts say local efforts should be focused on stopping unwanted nutrients from getting into the lakes because those cause damaging algae blooms. That means controlling how surrounding land is used.
Minnesota is actually really a leader in devoting resources, money to protecting watersheds to slow down or reverse these oxygen losses.
We're trying to put as much resiliency into those lakes as we can because we know they're going to have some stresses from that warming climate.
The U of M researchers are turning their attention specifically to Minnesota lakes so they can refine their recommendation on how habitats can be better protected here.
The Internal Revenue Service is now sending out tax refunds for certain filers. Still ahead on Valley News Live at 10, who it is that will be getting them.
Thunder, lightning, and most beneficial rain heading toward the FM area. I am watching very closely. You can almost see the rotation in this storm near Leonard. A rotating thunderstorm could produce a tornado. We're going to analyze this and have the latest in your warnings and where the hail is and where it's all going coming up here right after this.